you do have a freedom to immigrate to North Korea if you want to. Technically, if you do immigrate to North Korea right now, the regime gonna accept you with open arms. So this is a tricky thing about North Korea. You are free to enter, but you are not free to exit. So you might go there with your free will, but the regime not gonna let you go back if you wanna return. So this has happened to many people who actually immigrate to North Korea from other countries, especially from Japan. There's a lot of diaspora of Koreans who left Korea during the Korean War or the Japanese colonialism, and then they missed their homeland, so they went back to North Korea. And then what happened was, as soon as they got there, they regretted, but the regime never let them go back. So thank you, Kevin. Hi. So basically, currently, based on my research, shows when you enter North Korea, the regime kind of helps you for the first 5 years. So they are gonna give you the free housing, it's a socialist system, why not? And they are gonna give you public rations. However, in this free housing, you do not choose where you're gonna live in North Korea. The regime assigns the place that you get to live. And then the public ration means it's not like you get steak, butter, eggs. They're gonna give you some mixed corn, barley, and different grains. And then give you 1 bottle of soybean oil, a little bit small bottle of, soy sauce, and some kilograms of potatoes. And that's what you get when you go to that country. But when you are initially enter the country, you have a lot of value to the regime because the North Korean regime brainwashed its own population saying that entire universe, entire humanity wanna come to North Korea. Like, we literally have a song called Nothing to Envy because everybody wants to be like us, that we are living in the best country in the world. So they say they are gonna use those immigrants from America, Canada, Japan, South Korea and go there, and then they're gonna put them on the national television and then showing it to North Korean people how these people are admiring North Korean system. Thank you, Paulius. Anyway, so after that process ends, and the regime usually do not treat you that well. They send you in the countryside, a lot of them ending up in the concentration camp. And some Americans are use of value because they make a lot of anti-American movies, and then they're using these white people in those movies because you cannot really find immigrants who are different race in North Korea. So Derek, as a gay British man, am I safe if I visit North Korea under Kim's regime? So, right. So that's not about the immigration question, but visiting. Maybe you would be safe if you go, but there are like hundreds of different rules that you have to follow. And I don't think you can hold your boyfriend's hand and, show your love for your partner there because North Korea do not acknowledge that gay does exist at the moment. 감사합니다, 김장은님. 매번 이렇게 와주셔가지고. Anyway, so, and another benefit of the people I recommend them to immigrate to North Korea is that it's not a really benefit. There were cases in South Korea. There were people who had a lot of debt. And then where do you go, right? North Korea, because that's the last place that any debt collector gonna come after you. So some South Koreans actually escaped to North Korea to avoid their debt collectors. And then initially the regime do let you stay in touch with your families who are outside of North Korea. So how it does that, the regime tell you and then make sure that what you write, everything is being watched, and then let you contact your family members and ask them to send the money to them. Then regime takes 90% of the money that relatives sent, and then 10% goes to your actual relative. So if your cousin escaped North Korea, they might be able to reach you and ask for money, then you send the money, and that 90% the money goes to regime and 10% ends up in your relative's hand. So that is another benefit of being an immigrant in North Korea than being a North Korean, is because you at least have access to the outside the world in a very limited capacity. So Brianna, thank you. Thank you. The interesting info on North Korea. We will purchase your books soon. Thank you so much. And so yeah, this is a reason because I've been baffled. How many people think America is the worst country to be in? How the West is the worst place to be in? And how much they are praising China, Russia, Venezuela, Cuba, and North Korea. So I'm really trying to tell them what's gonna happen when they leave the country. So thank you so much, Rebecca. And this is the thing, like America, you have a passport, you can leave the country freely if you want to, but not North Koreans do not have that choice. So if anybody think that North Korea is better, I recommend you so. So anyway, the other one is if you go there, what's gonna happen to your job? Which means the regime gonna tell you what to do. You know, they would replace you in the collective farm. They're gonna tell you which region to go, you know, which factory to work. So you don't have any choice. What country are you in? So I'm in Chicago, USA. I know. Marty, Luz, thank you so much. And then the another fascinating thing about going to North Korea as an immigrant is you're not gonna have a dating apps. You will not choose your own partner. The regime gonna choose a partner for you. It's like they do that with more immigrants. So those Japanese, South Koreans, other countries people come, the regime always assign them with each other. So they don't mingle with the general North Korean population. So well, even if you go to North Korea, you are not gonna get to marry to North Korean people usually. You're gonna marry some other immigrants that is, you know, shared by the public. And usually the Japanese immigrants marry Japanese. The other countries, some from African countries, other countries, they marry each other and they live in a very segregated area. And in North Korea, you don't have freedom of movement. So even when you go to North Korea, guys, you're not gonna get to travel the country like you do here. So that is another option. And there's no freedom whatsoever. You might bring tons of money, go there. I think it's the thing. In North Korea, there's one thing that you cannot buy. You literally can buy anything if you have money because the country is so corrupt. There's no rule of law. If you have money, you can buy anything, just not the freedom. If you go to a country, the regime gonna decide what you wear, what kind of haircut you get, what to watch, what to read, you know, what to listen to. And so even if you bring money with you, well, mostly it's gonna taken by the regime and you are never gonna get that freedom. Brown, right? Thank you so much. And another is, in North Korea, there's no emergency course. So when you go to North Korea, just expect that there's no gender equality. There is nothing called like women and men equal. Daily life, women get beaten by their husband. And domestic violence is not even considered to be a violence. It's not even a reason to be granted for divorce. Last time I was talking about this, like, you know, going to the court and say my husband beats me is not a reason to get granted for a divorce. Therefore, if you go to North Korea, if you're a woman, just imagine that you're gonna be beaten by men all the time, and then you have no place to call. There's no like police number to call. There's no 911. You know, there's no gas. There's no cars. There's nothing coming on your way to help you out. And then other thing is, in your house, as I said, you are gonna get some public ration that North Koreans don't get, but you're not gonna have the running water. You're not gonna have a shower. You're not gonna have a refrigerator. You're not gonna have public transportation. You are not gonna have a bath, and you're not gonna have grocery stores. You're not gonna have a shopping malls or department store. That's gonna be the life. So Earbong again, they are going to have to negotiate or liberate. Yeah, this is the thing. Like it just. But why do you guys think so though? Given this bizarreness, how this grotesque treatment of humanity, the human rights is so violated, why there are so many people brainwashed in the West and saying things like that North Korea is better than America. And I got into this debate on Twitter one day. They were keep saying like how wonderful North Korea was. It's like, okay, why don't you get then go to North Korea? And they said, oh, I just don't have money to buy an airplane ticket to go to North Korea. It's like, okay, you should do it. Maybe I will pay for it. Then they were like, thousands of them wanted me to buy the one-way ticket to North Korea. So it's like, no, I cannot afford it. I thought it was like one person I could. I don't know if they were joking with me or like this many seriously people in the West trying to escape America, like freedom.